guys, welcome back to Miss Black's online tutorials. This one is going to be about portrait drawing, but it is really not so much about proportions of the face, but proportions that you see within a grid. So I wanted to show you guys first what a grid was, and I've already drawn one here. So this is a grid. And I've just labeled it just to make it easier to, so like if I were trying to draw, you know, maybe there's an eye in this square, I could look at the eye and then know that it's in G5. And that makes it a little easier. But all you need to make your grid is a piece of paper, and it's just regular old paper here, a pencil, and you just need to make equal squares on your paper going, so if you're thinking about from top to bottom, these rows would be equal distances from each other, and these columns would be equal distances from each other. And the thing you want to make sure you do is whatever you're drawing, whoever you're drawing, and you can use this for people, you can use this for anything you want to draw. As long as the picture you're looking at, you've also created a grid for, it should work for anything. As long as the grid that you've made on your blank paper, that same grid, so if we look at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going left to right, and 10 going top to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I must have double counted. As long as you have the same type of grid on this paper and your picture that you're referring to, then this should work. So I'm not going to draw the grid since I already have a grid drawn, but make sure that you have that done before you start this project. Okay, so here's my grid. And like I said, you're going to choose photos or references that have a similar, or not similar, but same grid as you have for your project. And I'm just linking this project with the presidents. And so I'm thinking this is probably more an upper grade, more specifically fifth grade project, because in fifth grade, social studies core involves learning about the presidents. 1 second here. So I'm just putting, you know, pictures of presidents in here. I've got different presidents. I've got the current president, Joe Biden, and then here's FDR. And I've gridded each of these out. We've got JFK. And Abraham Lincoln, Barack Obama, Theodore Roosevelt, and I should have Washington in here somewhere. Maybe I didn't copy that one. I'll have to make a new one there, but that's okay. So I'm just going to choose one of these, and I think I'm going to do, maybe not Teddy. Which one jumped out at me here? I'll do JFK. So I'm going to have a photo that I'm going to refer to. And the photo doesn't have to be this big. It can be just a regular, you know, 7x5 photo. But you just want to make sure that you grid it out. Or maybe your parents can help you copy it, and then you can grid it out on another sheet of paper. It's also helpful to make sure that that photo is black and white, because we're going to be drawing this with just pencil. And so you're going to want to make sure that you understand the values, and values are just light to dark. So for example, like this right here is the lightest light, and this here is the darkest dark. So I'm going to be thinking about those things, and then all of this is in between. So I'm going to be thinking about all of those things as I'm drawing. So the best thing for you to do as you're working on this is to make sure that your picture or your reference photograph is also in black and white because it will help you to do that. So, all right, so I've got my photograph that is gridded out. I've got my paper that's gridded out. So basically, it's just drawing square for square. You're looking at one square at a time, and you're trying to not copy the whole face all at once, but just, hey, this square right here, I want to make sure that I go, you know, this amount in, and I go up into the corner there of this square, and I make this shape. And that's all you're going to do. Also, to help you out, I would also suggest that if you have your grid that you've drawn, if you label your columns and rows on your grid, you're also going to want to do that on your picture. So I'm going to do that right now. This one will be A, B, C, D, G, H, I, J, and then this one will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. So that you can refer to this and say, okay, so I'm trying to figure out where the I is, this I. Well, it's in G, and it's G4. So I'm going to make sure to do that on here. G4. Right here is where I'll start drawing this particular square and whatever is in that square. And so it's basically just trying to look at what you see in that square and recreate it in your drawing square. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. And maybe you guys will benefit from me zooming out a little bit. This is actually as zoomed out as this document camera goes. So I'm going to prop it on something. Okay, so here's my drawing. Excuse the noise. There's my reference photo. Here's my drawing paper. So I am going to just decide where I want to start. And I always like to start with just like the shape. So I'm going to start with the shape of the head. So I'm going to be looking at this reference photo, maybe just start here. And so this is E1. So I'm going to go to this one right here, E1. And I'm going to look and see where I see lines happening. So right here, I see this line right here. So I'm going to start about right here on this one, because it's about the same there. I'm going to start here, and I notice that this goes up and then it slopes down a little bit. Slopes down. And then I'm going to go to D1 now. D1 right here. And right here it slopes down to about right here. And I'm just loosely drawing this. If you want to get into just doing one square at a time and getting into those details, you can totally do that too. So instead of me drawing the whole shape, maybe I will take my square here and just completely try to copy what I see here and even put those values in. So really that's up to you. It depends on how you kind of go throughout your process. I'm more of a whole thing process, so I'm going to try and draw the whole thing, and then this will help me to make sure it's in the right spot. But if you want to do just one square at a time, you can go for it. So right here, if I'm doing this square, oh sorry, you probably can't see that. If I'm doing this square here, I've copied it to here. So now I'd start to color in, and this is if you're doing just like one square at a time. Color in those values. And these, got some of these highlights. And then I'll also color this in. Okay, so that's just like one square at a time. If we look at these and try to compare them, bring this up closer. So I'm trying to make this look as much like this as I can. Okay, and that's if you're just doing one square at a time. I'm going to, like I said, do the whole picture. So I'm going to look at D2 now, because I noticed that's where the shape starts to go into. So I'm going to go to D2, and it's going to go just right through the corner, down into here. About right there. And then C2 has a tiny bit of this. And then if I go down to C3, make sure it's C3, tiny bit there. And then I go into D3, which is the next square. So we've got D3. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the same square over here, D3. Then I'm going to bring that down where I see those lines. And this is just the way I like to draw. I like to try and draw the entire shape first, and then I add the details. But if that's not the way you roll, then do it your way. That's fine. I just like to see the whole shape before I draw details. Okay, now I'm seeing here. D5. Oh, it goes into the maybe halfway point there. If I'm looking at this square, so this ear goes like halfway into this square if I'm thinking horizontally, and then it goes into the jawline, and it goes to about right, the jawline goes to about right there in that square. So I'm going to go down one more, D6, and I'm going to draw that shape. Okay, and so you're just doing just one square at a time, whether it's doing all the entire values one square at a time, or just drawing in your sketch lines one square at a time. That is the idea. I'm going to release like a time-lapse video of me doing this. So if you're curious as to what my process looks like, you can totally check that out. But really, one square at a time, do your best, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Also keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a picture of a president. It can be anything that you have lying around that you are interested in. So keep that in mind, and I look forward to seeing your work. Thanks, guys.